Okay, good evening, really late evening. I'm doing a really late video because I had work today, but as I promised, I'm going to do a revisit video, and we're going to continue doing this through the year because I talked about specific stocks last week, and I want to revisit some of the numbers that I communicated was either going to happen before the end of the week, end of the month, or end of the year, and what our progress is. I don't want to just leave it dead and then start talking about all these other stocks. I want to stay focused and learn specifically about how stocks move, even in the crazy volatility that we've had this last week, and I don't know, grow and learn. That being said, you always have to say this in videos like this. I'm not a financial advisor, so this is just information from an opinion from one investor on YouTube that either you know or you don't know. And as I always say before, I don't put juicy headlines and stuff on here because this is really just for my subscribers and for people that I know and I share this with directly, person to person, face to face. This is just fun and educational things that I've learned, and hopefully pass it on. But I'm going to jump into the 8 stocks we talked about last week. I'm also going to talk about a stock that I've got into, but that's kind of going to be an additional bonus, something to put on your radar. And we will talk about that accordingly. So that being said, let's go through 1 through 8, and I'll talk about the last stock at the end. First one, high tide. The way we're going to approach this, imagine you set a limit on what my price target was going to be, and let's see if you would have won during this week, even though some things I said it's going to happen before the end of the month or end of the year. First one is high tide. I said that this price target was going to hit 70 cents before the end of the month. Did we meet that goal already in the first week? Actually, yes. As I predicted, the earnings for Q4 2020 came out, and the stock price actually jumped to 73 cents on March 1st. So the first day of the prediction, if you would have set the limit, you would have definitely been out of this position, which would have actually made you more than 10%. And then as the price dropped off recently with all these dips and everything that's happening, you have an opportunity to actually buy back for a lot cheaper and get more shares. So high tide, yes, a winner for the end of the month in the first day, right? So it went to 73 cents. Second stock is going to be GAXY, which I said end of the month is going to be 0.045 cents. And at the end of the year, 20 cents. Now, obviously, if we don't hit the month goal, we didn't hit the year goal. We did not hit the month goal yet, but here's what I'm thinking about this and the reason to have optimism for still hitting the goal before the end of the month. The stimulus bill got passed in the House, got thrown over to the Senate for them to pass it. They just passed it, and I think they just made a couple changes, and it goes for review to the House, and it has to pass through there one more time before it hits the president's desk. The reason why I'm talking about that, it's a huge stimulus bill, $1.9 trillion or some ridiculous amount. And there's a large amount of it going to schools in order to help for reopening and all that stuff. Well, GAXY is perfectly positioned because they have 2 parts of it. They have all these shields and all that stuff because there's going to be a level of liability. These schools are going to want to maintain responsible social distancing and all those, whatever's required probably for the next year or 2. So they have that. GAXY has that, but also GAXY has technology that the screen boards and the apps that they have, that all their stuff is supported from government funding. So as government funding is about to take off in the next week or 2 to open back up the economy, stocks like GAXY, and there's not a whole lot of them, but stocks positioned like GAXY are going to win. So I still believe my end of month is definitely doable at 0.045 cents. Okay. Next up is GameStop, which is GME. I said for the end of the week it's going to be $125. Well, GameStop has been steadily climbing, and that passed it early. Okay, I think even on the first day, if I look at it passed it on the first day on March 1st. It went to $133.99. Currently, it is sitting around $151. I mean, it really shot past it. So, yes, end of the week, did it win? Definitely, it won. And who knows what's going to happen in the future, but that's why it was a weak play. Actually, yeah, it was a weak play just to see could you make essentially about 25% in a week. And if you held on to it, you made a little more. But 25%, like we talked about before, is a great percentage to get in an entire year, let alone in a week. And that prediction came out true. Next one is AMC. I predicted end of the week at $10. Now, did it meet that goal? No, it did not. It got all the way to $9.40. Still not a bad return. With all the theaters opening, now that is steadily climbing. I mean, I'm looking at all my numbers on here, like 944, goes to 940, even with the dips, 859, 827, sitting around $8. Now it dipped a little, and I don't think you would have lost any money, but did we meet that goal for the end of the week? No. Who knows what's going to happen with this? I think people are going to hold on to this stock anyway, and I think over a period of time they're not going to lose. I don't think they're going to be dead, because I have this feeling they're really trying to open up this economy and make sure things just don't go under. And AMC is one of those lucky stocks that it's just going to be blessed. So no, we did not meet that goal though. So let's just stay straightforward on there. Next one, end of the month, ABML, $3 end of the month. Has not hit that, especially with that huge dip. Now, I saw American Battery go down, I want to say to like either 153 or 140, something like that. It came all the way back down. And if I had extra funds off to the side, there's a part of me that just wanted to dump a bunch into it, because I saw at that moment that I would have bought when it was really low, because I fully expect for that to come right back. So right now, actually, I still have full confidence it's going to come back up to $3. It is sitting at, about, let's see here, like 186 or so. That being said, the margin, I still believe it's going to hit there before the end of the month. The margin of what you'll receive if you didn't go on before and you're thinking about it now is going to be even greater. So I think this is a great time to go for American Battery, because I do believe it's going to go back up to $3 range and plus more. It's one of those promising EV stocks for lithium-ion batteries that the government's going to rally around, people are going to rally around, and it's just going to always be on people's radar. And I think that's a hold for like 5 years, and it'd be a grand slam. I really do. Now, the next one is Zomedica, ZOM. The price target is $2.50 for the end of the month. I like this one very much. Now, have we hit the price target yet? No, we have not, especially with the dip that we've had. I'm going to continue talking about it because we did hit a pretty bad dip. But Zomedica, the first day went to like 219, so I was like, okay, we're on our way. And then we had a horrible week, 225, 202, 189. It's sitting at 178 right now. I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm most likely going to do tomorrow. We're going to see. If it's sitting at like the 170, 180, I still expect for this thing to hit 250, because True Form is coming out at the end of the month. The margin, once again, kind of like American Battery, it's just got greater, but I still expect for it to hit the price target. That being said, I'm going to talk about my last stock that I'm jumping back and forth. I'm going to play both of these at the same time and kind of day trade them. But if I expect Zomedica to definitely be hitting this price target, that's more than 50 cents underneath $2. So it's at least 25% that I'll be looking to gain in my little fund of day trade, which would be significant. And I think it's more of a guarantee, and I think everybody's going to get pretty excited about True Form and sell out of that before the product hits the market on March 30th, and let that be what it be. But I'm going to gain from that if I decide to go into it, and I think maybe tomorrow. But I still totally believe in that, so we'll revisit that as well. The next two stocks were absolutely smash hits, as I predicted. MRO and APA. These are both oil kind of stocks. MRO, I said before the end of the month, it's going to hit $12. It just shot past that, and currently sitting at $13.29. It's going to, now, between that and APA, I said it's going to be $22. Once again, that just steadily climbed, and that's sitting at around $23.30. Both of those went past the target. Yes, met the goal early on the first week. They have, I don't know where the ceiling is. I saw what they passed traded for. So I want to say that they're going to slow down, but at very least for this single study that I did and predictions, it came true for March. So that's why I'm just going to stick with that. Do I think that they're going to have a ceiling? I do, but I'm going to leave that alone for the rest of March. So there's a couple of them that I don't really have to, I want to touch on and say this is where it's further going, but for High Tide, GameStop, MRO, Marathon Oil, and Apache, APA, those already met the goals. That's a win. The only one we have not made that was wrong per se was AMC at $10. Got close enough at $9.40, but still did not make it, so I'm going to just keep that right there. GAXY still has time to go, and I think it's going to meet it. American Battery, ABML, still has time. I still think it's going to make it. And Zomedica still has time. I think it's going to make it. And I look to personally invest in that. The last one that I'm going to talk about that was not on last week's video, but the reason why, if I don't go right into Zomedica, is OCGN, OCGN. This is a vaccine. I actually got a tip from a guy, Ryan, a buddy of mine from work. And he said, hey, look, you might look into investing in this. This is a vaccine stock that they got partnership with India, and they're going to go through some testing, and they are going to get potentially emergency use authorization in the United States and help them market and sell their vaccine to the United States and then actually through the entire world. Well, I gained some pretty good percentage, let it shoot up, and then I sold when it was up. It was like around $14 or so, and then when it came back down, I bought it again. I currently hold right now about 200 something shares of it, and this is going to be a toss-up. Always some good news coming out. Everybody wants to get out of this coronavirus using these vaccines. There's plenty of, I'll talk about it maybe in a different video, all the different catalysts, all the positive stuff that's coming out of this stock. But my question is to myself is, when do I cut off of this? If I want to go back into Zomedica, I'm going to let this go for a little bit, let the news kind of build for itself, and then transfer that money to Zomedica, which I think is more of a solid return that I can more or less bank on, because there's a lot. If this vaccine stock takes time to get through the United States FDA, then that's all downtime that I think is going to be more flat when Zomedica during this month of Truforma coming out is going to move up, and I can gain those percentages and then hopefully take that profit and that money and throw it right back into OCGN and then make the money after it gets FDA approval and grow twice. That's what I think I'm going to try to do, but we're going to see about that. That's my mindset. So I just want to make this a quick video and just revisit information. I always dislike it when you watch sports or football, somebody makes a prediction and they never revisit it and take accountability for their research. I want to do that here, and I want to do that on a weekly basis and help us learn and ask the questions why and do some research and figure out where we're going. So if you have any comments on if you invested in any of this stuff, if you have any thoughts about some of the stocks you're looking at, but we're going to look at these 8 and probably talk about some that jump in and out and put it on your radar. But I believe in this list, and so far I think I'm doing pretty well, and I hope that it is making people that are watching this some money if they decide to hate this advice, or just start to learn to trust the research that I do a little bit to help you with the research that you're doing and allow for you to make good decisions that could put you in a better financial state. Thanks for watching, and looking forward to having another good trading week of the 8th of March and forward. Have a great day.